Hey everybody, welcome to Garden Time with Belle. It is the second week of March, and that means for this Zone 6 Mid-Missouri gardener, I need to get seeds in the ground. Today I'm going to bring you along as I show you how I like to sow what I call my cool weather crop seeds this early. Yes, we will still have some probably have some light frost. We'll have some cold evenings, but these particular crops love cool temperatures. They do best in cool temperatures, so let's do it. It is time, and I cannot wait. I've been sowing a lot of seeds that are inside the house growing, but now I can finally direct sow seeds right into the raised bed garden. So before I show you the plants I'm going to be growing and the materials we're going to need for this job, I'm going to invite everybody out there to please like and subscribe to my channel. Those of you that are already subscribers, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And if you're new here, I'm sure glad that you found me. All right, so let's just get to it. I think what I'll do first is let's talk about what I'm going to be sowing today. Again, all cool weather crops. Some of you that saw a recent video on my new raised beds that I purchased through Epic Gardening's website, the Birdie's raised beds, when I purchased the last 4 beds, they sent me tons and tons of free seeds. It was a real great, I think it was maybe a Black Friday special, and so I got a whole bunch of seeds from them. In fact, I probably have a video showing you all the seeds that they gave me for free. So I love that. I want to try some of their seeds. I know a lot of you out there love botanical interest seeds, which is what Epic Gardening sells. These don't say botanical interest on them. They say Epic Gardening. So I don't know if it's the same or different, but I'm going to give them a try because they were free. So why not? Okay, here we go. One of my all-time favorite cool weather crops are sugar snap peas, and I'm going to be growing the sugar snap pea patio pride. I'll give you some really quick stats. 1 inch deep. It takes 5 to 10 days to germinate, and so I'm going to be growing these actually on something I just built earlier this morning. So I'll show you that when we get out to the raised bed garden. Carrots, I love growing carrots. I finally started having some success last year, and so I'm going to be growing the new Caruda, I don't know how you pronounce it, from Baker Creek. I grew this last year. Fantastic. I'm also going to grow something I grew last year, the Johnny Seed Glow Stick Moonrise Mix. Purple and burgundy and orange and yellow carrots. Oh, they were beautiful, but they were also really tasty. And here's a new one. This is one of my free seed packets from Epic Gardening. Nantes Mokum, M-O-K-U-M. I'm going to give these carrots a try. And then the next thing I want to show you, these are all salad greens. And I'm just going to grow a whole variety. And again, 4 of these, actually all 5 come from Epic Gardening. So I'm going to give their Spinach America a try. I'm going to give their Heirloom Garden Mix a try. Prize Head, this is pretty cool. It looks variegated, the leaves, so that looks pretty interesting. They've got one here. It's a romaine style lettuce called Freckles. And just a mesclun mix from them as well. And this was another thank you for a different purchase that I made through Epic Gardening. All right, so what about materials and supplies? Don't need much. Of course, need all of my seeds here. I'm gonna need some garden gloves. I recently did a manicure, had a special event this past weekend, and I rarely do my nails in the gardening season, but yeah, so I'm gonna need some gloves to protect those. I went ahead and made my garden markers. I hate purchasing single-use plastic, so I tried to reuse them, but a lot of these were things I grew last year, like the new Caruda carrots, so I keep them and try to reuse them when I can. Listen, if you all ever use these kind in your garden and you know how to get the permanent garden marker off of here, leave that in the comment section below, because I've tried everything. Rubbing alcohol, I don't know, fingernail polish remover, nothing works. So, but I'm trying to reuse them for sure. And then all the beds are going to get the Biotone starter fertilizer. It's a wonderful starter fertilizer, as it says. It is organic. You have followed my channel. Those of you that have followed my channel see me put this in everything. Every single thing I plant, except for some herbs that don't like fertilizing. I use it in every hole, but this particular use today, since there's seed starting, I'm going to just broadcast this fertilizer, just sprinkle it over the top little bit of soil and work it in a little bit, and that should do. And then I've got some other supplies out there, actually some special things that I want to show you that I'm going to be using for my sugar snap peas. I made a little DIY trellis for them, just trying out a new little project today. And I have a trick I finally discovered for me that works in helping my carrots germinate, because sometimes they take a long time. So I'll show you those materials when we get out in the raised bed garden. Listen, I cannot wait to get out there. So enough talk, let's get planting. Had to run inside and get my little, I don't know what these things are called, these little puff balls on my mic, because per usual, it is a windy day in my Missouri garden, and I want to make sure you all can hear me. So here we are in the raised bed. Let me do a quick back up here so that you can see. The first bed that we're going to work in is right here, where I have created some DIY bamboo, little bamboo trellis for my sugar snap peas to grow on. And I just looked up online how to do it. I know there are fancy little trellises that I could use that just kind of pop up, and maybe next year, but I thought, why not try something new and let my sugar snap peas grow up those. So anyways, I'll turn the camera around and give you guys a close-up view. So yeah, this is the first bed we're going to work in, and we're going to put our sugar snap peas on these little trellises right here that I just made this morning. So I thought that would be fun. It didn't take any time, and it only took a few materials, bamboo stakes and some nice jute twine. So that is what I'm going to try this year. Typically in the past, I have grown my sugar snap peas in, well, this is a new bed, but in this area where I had a big cattle panel arch system, but I'm going to be using that for something else this year. So anyhow, look at the beds. They're not all done. Here are these three, or 1, 2, 3, 4x8s will get swapped out this week. There they are over there, but my husband's been working hard. He got this one put in recently, and the tall ones that I'm working in today we installed last spring, so it was time to retrofit the other 15-inch beds this season. Okay, time to get started. All right, here we are. I'm going to apologize in advance because it is so windy today that I hope the mic doesn't pick up too much wind. So it's possible when I edit this video for you all, I may end up doing a voiceover so that you can hear kind of what I'm saying. So I'm going to do my best. So I put the Biotone root starter fertilizer in and scratched that in the soil. And I've got the snap peas marker there. And here is what I'm going to plant, the Patio Pride sugar snap peas from Epic Gardening. And here's the specs: 5 to 10 days for germination, which is nice and fast. I need to plant these seeds at 1-inch depth and space them about 2 inches apart. And so that means I'm going to put, I think it's going to work out, 4 seeds around each of the main bamboo canes. And let me bring it in real close so you can see. Come over here, how nice and big the seeds are. All right, so that's all I've got to do, 1 inch deep. All right, I've got my pea seeds, and they're nice and big like I showed you. Could not be easier, everybody. I know I say that a lot, but it's true. So yeah, we're just gonna put them down about 1 inch and right around the base of this and cover them up. Pretty simple. So now I just need to give them a nice drink, water them in, and you might notice some of our irrigation tubing. Let me just show you our drip irrigation. There's the main line, and then here's our tubing. We won't be turning on our drip irrigation for probably about another month, so that means for the next few weeks I need to take good care to make sure these seeds don't dry out, and I'm just going to do that by hand watering. And that's something I'll have to come out and do every day, because in the next few days, I mean, it's going to be in the upper 70s today, and they say 80s tomorrow. So wow, wow, wow. So I'm going to have to really make sure I keep up with consistently moist seeds. And these beds are fairly dry to begin with because this is sort of fresh soil. So they drain fast, they dry out fast. So I need to take care and make sure I don't let my seeds dry out. But as I mentioned, sugar snap peas, according to this package, this variety is supposed to germinate in 5 to 10 days. That will be amazing if that happens. All right, next stop, carrots. All right, 3 types of carrots are going in the garden this year. The Epic Gardening Mochums, the Johnny's Glow Stick Moonrise, and the Baker Creek New Carota. These 2 I've grown before, did amazing. Gonna give Epic Gardening seed a try this year. And this bed, I'm devoting half of it to my carrots, because the other half I'm gonna put leeks and onions in. And I'm not gonna go into detail today for you about companion planting or what veggies and things go well together, but I do want to encourage you to consider that when you are placing different crops in the same bed. They all have sort of different needs, and they also all pull different micronutrients and macronutrients out of the soil. They have sort of different needs. So anyways, it's worth kind of doing a little Google search on that. So my leeks and onions, I've started from seed, but not out here. It's too early to bring them out. They are going to grow on either inside the house or in my greenhouse. And so I won't be planting those out probably until last week of April, first week of May. So let's get to the seeds. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what is called broadcasting seed. I'm going to just take the seed out and I'm going to sprinkle them. Most carrot seed, you need to plant it at a depth of 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 to 1/4 to 1/2 an inch deep. And all of these packets suggest something different. So I'm gonna split the difference and go for about 1/2 an inch, which is not very deep at all. So I'm gonna broadcast the seed. Then I'm gonna scoop up some of this extra soil on this end, and I'll sprinkle it over the top and tap it down. And then keeping these seeds moist so they don't dry out is a challenge. It has been for me until I learned a secret that I'm gonna show you in a little bit. So I'll tell you more about that. But these seeds will take probably 10 to 20 days to germinate. Let's see what this one says. This says 10 to 20 days. This says 12 to 18. So it's not just a 5 or 6 day deal. You got to be patient for seeds to germinate, but they can't dry out. So that's kind of a challenge. But I'm up for it, and I'm going to show you my trick in a little bit when I water them in. So the secret to my success last year in getting my carrot seeds to stay nice and moist so that they could eventually germinate is right inside this box, and it would be frost cloth. Yep, That's all it took last year for me to find some success by covering this up with some frost cloth. So I'm going to show you how I do it. Now, I've already put my little markers in the soil just to help me remember what I was going to sow where, but I've got to lay the frost cloth directly on the soil, so I'm going to shove them down for now until everything germinates. I'll push them down in the soil. And so what I need to do is I need to water these in, which I'll show you here in a second, hand water them in, and then I'm gonna cut some frost cloth to cover up just this section, and I'm gonna wet the frost cloth, and that's going to be hopefully what they're gonna need to stay nice and moist. You saw me broadcasting these seeds, and real heavy actually, and that's okay because germination is sometimes a little bit difficult, so it's a good idea to maybe broadcast more than you think you'll ever need. And then I will definitely thin these. You want to thin your carrots about every couple of inches at least, so that they have plenty of room to grow underground. You don't want to crowd them. So I'd rather just broadcast, rather than, they're such tiny seeds, rather than try to, perfectly plant them. And then I'll just come in here once my seedlings get about 2 inches tall at least. Then I'll come in with my little snips, my garden snips, and I'll just cut away all the extra carrots that I don't need and that I don't want to crowd. So it's a pretty simple process, and of course I'll bring you guys along when that day comes when I need to thin my carrots. Well, it was too darn windy to try to cut this frost cloth out here, so I ran in the greenhouse with it and had some scissors in there, and that's a much easier way to do it. All right, so as I said, I had to throw some biotone on there last minute, so I think I'm going to go ahead and water that in just a little bit more, and then we're going to put the frost cloth on top and water the top of the frost cloth and pin it down, because we have very windy springs and very windy falls. I don't know about you guys where you live, but oh my gosh. And I can take heat and I can take cold, but when it's super windy and I'm working outside for several hours, it just wears me out. I don't know about you all, but dang, it's not my favorite thing to work in a high wind. So, okay, enough complaining, more gardening, please. So here we go. So I'm just going to use these landscaping staples, and I'm going to pin them down. Whoops. So I've got my frost cloth on there, and now I'm gonna go ahead and water the top, because this is porous, so it will actually go through the frost cloth a little bit, not a lot, but it definitely will go through there a little bit. Can't hurt anything. There are lots of ways to do this. I've tried the board method, where you put your carrot seeds down in a row and then you wet them in, and then you put a board over the top and remove the board ever so often, water them, put the board back on to do that. You can also use cardboard, but again, because of our high winds here, it's hard for me to get the cardboard to stay. I know people will put bricks on the cardboard, so that could work too. So you guys probably have some good ideas as well, but this worked for me last year, so why not repeat what happened last year? Okay, so yeah. Carrots are done. The last thing will be really easy to do. We're going to go over to that bed, and I'm going to broadcast a bunch of different salad greens. Well, it's time for the lettuce, and I I did want to share with you all, I don't know about you, but I try to have gardening goals each year, and one of the things I've been not very good at that I want to get better at is what's called succession planting or succession sowing, and that's what I'm going to try to do with this lettuce. So that simply means that I'm going to sow some lettuce seeds and spinach seeds and things today, and then I'm going to come back in 2 or 3 weeks and I'm going to sow some more. The idea is this lettuce I'm planting today is going to get mature and be harvested, and when I'm done with that harvest, I'll have a second succession of it growing and ready for the next harvest. So I'm going to try that this year. All right, so I think I'll be sowing seed today where I put the biotone. That'll sort of help me remember. We'll see. So I'm just going to rough it up into the soil just a little bit like that. This is going to be my spinach area. And then this is going to be my lettuce area. So I'm going to grow a lot of different varieties. I'm going to just kind of mix them all up and not be too concerned. And then the cilantro area. Cilantro doesn't need that much space, so I think I'll give my lettuce the most space. All right, so spinach, America, epic gardening seed, 7 to 14 days before it germinates, seed depth 1/2 inch. I think this time I will do little rows just for fun. And so I'm going to take my little pointed trowel here and I am going to make 1/2 inch deep rows where I'm going to place my seed. Let's see. Tap, tap, tap down the row. So I have 4 kinds of lettuce. Most of it should germinate in 5 to 10 days. Yep, all 5 to 10 days. So I think what I'll do is I'll broadcast 4 sections, only 1/8 of an inch deep. Oh my gosh, like hardly at all. So basically I'm going to surface sow and sprinkle the lightest amount of soil on top and pat it in. Well, all that is left for this bed is just to water everything in. I've got my spinach, lettuce, and cilantro. I'm trying succession sowing, so I've left blank spaces. So in about 3 weeks, I'll come back and put down another grouping of seed, and hopefully I'll have that continual harvest, right? The early stuff will come up, I'll harvest on it, and then a next wave of salad greens and some cilantro will hopefully come up after that. And my camera looks like it's shaking a little bit. That wind is picking up, so I hope you can see and hear okay. But that's all I need to do is get that done. So thank you everybody for hanging out with me today. It is so exciting to get out in the garden, first time this year, direct sow some of these things and get the garden season started. So until next time, I wish everybody out there